All right, guys, it is time. It's time to talk about my boy Ning Fei. Been asked a few times to make a build video on him. His build's actually pretty simple, but the reason I wanted to wait until now to make this video is I wanted to see if Calamity Ops would reset and if he would still be as useful as he was last reset. He is. Spoiler alert. You go to the Calamity Ops leaderboards. You'll see in the top 5 teams, they're showing a Ning Fei. I think it even goes down a little further. There's 6, 7, 8. So the top 8 teams were showing a Ning Fei. And why does it matter that he's in the top teams in Calamity Ops? Well, incandescence clusters are why it matters. They're one of the most valuable resources in the game, along with exotic infusion cores, in my opinion. Mobius clusters are also up there, but incandescence clusters are super valuable. We're limited on how many we can get. We need them for our characters' relic abilities, and Ning Fei is a part of them, as at least for right now. And I'm okay with that. I love Ning Fei, but the point of this video is you either have to main Ning Fei or know someone who does, if you want to be able to push your account and get the most out of it every couple weeks with the Calamity resets. So I'm going to go over my Ning Fei build in case you are the designated person in your friend group to become Ning Fei. Otherwise, you just got to meet someone who mains a Ning Fei. So don't hate on those Ning Feis when you see them in Calamity Ops. They're actually trying to help you. And I decided for my pack and my friend group, and because I love them anyways, to take over as being our Ning Fei main. I mean, you can see I've got a T6 Estella, and she's taking a back seat because being able to get those clusters, and also I just have so much fun playing on them. I wanted to take on that role in my group. So I am the resident Ning Fei for my friend group and my pack, and I kind of want to go over what I think works best for him. And there's some pretty dead set things. There's some things that can vary. So we'll go right into it. We will look at his weapons, okay? In my opinion, there is genuinely only one thing to run in his heavy slot, and that is his signature crossbow from the first encounter of Onslaught, Maha Mayuri. Might have butchered that. Let me know if I did. I wanted to try to have it max before I made the video, but if you can see, we're just a little bit shy. It still slaps. So forgive me. It'll be max tomorrow once I can get some more energy and run on one more legendary campaign. But I truly believe this is really the only thing worth talking about in the heavy slot. He does have some mythic crossbows that have some decent options. I know Saizo's probably going to be your best option in that slot. Maybe like Fire Rush or Trinkladier, and then probably Hyperemia or Glutton. But I don't think anything else, at least for harder content or higher tier content, I don't think Maha Mayuri should ever come out of the heavy slot. I don't even own another crossbow because it never comes off for me. When it comes to SMGs, you could cheese and use Huckleberry if you invested in Jolder. You're a Jolder main. You can use Huckleberry to at least get his power up, get him a gold medal. That's an option. Risk Runner, while I have not had much playtime with it, I actually just got a catalyst for it. I've heard it can be super fun. And for casual content, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, if you enjoy it, please be my guest. Go into it. It's cool. But I feel like he kind of has a built-in Risk Runner in his kit. So I just don't think either of these two exotic submachine guns outweigh just the drastically broken Maha Mayuri. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, when it comes to the mythic submachine guns, you do have two options. You've got Kulfi and Wolfpack. Kulfi, I believe the role I have here is, in my opinion, the best role you can get on it. You might be able to argue that Fraternity, just for the all-time damage buff, is up. You might be able to argue for Fraternity Syncopation. That's fine. I like the way Annihilation feels on it. I think it does really well on SMGs. Just the way they burst down, and then paired with Syncopation's crazy damage that it helps put out. I just think Annihilation Syncopation's your best role on Kulfi. And I personally prefer running Kulfi on him most of the time. The reason that Wolfpack can be in the discussion would just be for coverage. In Calamity Ops, if you got a lot of Void Shields, you don't necessarily have people who can always break them. It's nice to have that coverage, but I think perk-wise, Kulfi is just better. But Wolfpack, again, I'd probably be rolling with Annihilation. And then you've got some options here. Hyperemia at level 5 ends up stacking up to 100% damage. So it can be pretty nuts. You get the perk that matches with it, with the exotic mod. You're talking about, refilling the mag every final blow once you've hit that 5 stack mark, so you can keep that uptime. I don't use my SMG enough to really be able to fully take advantage of that. I'm pretty much maining the crossbow as much as I can. So for general play too, if you don't want to worry about managing your timer of 10 seconds, Black Body's a great option. At rank 5, you're at 9%. Damage per final blow stacks up to 5, and those stacks just stay until you die. You get the perk upgrade, you get an extra 2.4%, so that gets you pretty darn close to 55%, or actually a little over 55% damage once it's stacked up. Yes, it's not as strong as Hyperemia, but there's a lot less thinking involved. You're not watching a timer. But end all be all, I'd probably go with Annihilation Hyperemia. Conjugation, it looks cool, doesn't work on him. He's an art character, Void SMG. So forget Conjugation exists. Sinful Karma, it actually synergizes pretty well with Hyperemia. It just doesn't have a perk to boost it, and Annihilation is a damage perk. So I think Annihilation is just the way to go in this slot if you're going to roll Wolfpack. But I personally prefer Kulfi with the crossbow. Wolfpack is just there for coverage. I'll build it up eventually, get mods, but it's just not a priority for me right now. And so that's kind of how I feel about his weapons and what should be run in each slot. Move on to his relic abilities. Topic of today's video, pretty much with Ning Fei, is incandescence clusters. Don't hate me. I opted to take this to Weapon Mastery 5. That left me short here. I'll get it up when I get 2 more clusters. It'll probably be a monthly reset when I can buy some more from the store, the pack shop or the dust shop. And we'll have them fully maxed out. But you can see I got them pretty darn strong without that. So order of importance of his abilities, it's kind of preference. His super actually does kind of slap. I put that up to 18 first. Then I went for his lightning strike. I'll get the clones last. I might be wrong on that, but that's just kind of how I feel with how I play him. This chain lightning damage, his passive right here, is why I don't think Risk Runner is needed. I get chain lightning while I'm using my crossbow and dealing significantly more damage. So those are his abilities. You guys aren't here for that though. We all can open up and look at them. But we'll go over the artifacts. This is where you can kind of have some variance. This is kind of what I've landed on for my artifact slots. Ignore the substats. These are not necessarily what I want. These were just for pretty much power right now. But the actual artifact itself, Nourishing Pact, I really think there's 2 options in slot 1. You either have Nimble Veil or Nourishing Pact. I really like Nourishing Pact, and I'll explain why I prefer it to Nimble Veil. And it's pretty much because of this right here. His first talent tree upgrade gives you a second charge of clone. So every time you summon, which is what Nourishing Pact is, keyword is, summoning restores 20% health. So just summoning, I'm getting 20% of my health. And on top of that, I'm running Healing Veil. So casting movement abilities. Well, his summon actually counts as a movement ability. So you have 2 movement abilities there. You have 2 summons there. And his Spike Slam, that also counts as a movement ability. So all of his abilities are movement except his super. You get crazy uptime, crazy healing. You stack a little bit of healing bonus. And I'm not joking when I tell you, just 1 movement ability can almost give me full health from 0. And I'll go to the practice range and show you that in a little bit. But Nimble Veil is also an option, and it's a fantastic option. And to be blunt, I have a better substat roll on this than I do on my Nourishing Pact. but I've just enjoyed the healing so much from Nourishing Pact that's why I roll with this. But Nimble Veil gives you pretty solid uptime on damage taken reduction because it lasts for 3 seconds. You're pretty frequently spamming movement abilities, and if you get a kill with your slam, you can reset your clone. You can kind of chain that pretty well, especially in lower tier content. But in lower tier content, you don't really need the damage reduction from the set effect. But I will discuss the substats that I think I would prefer here. Just because, like I said, these aren't what I want. Well, I said the healing bonus is great. It's something that I'd be willing to sub out, but I think I'd end up keeping it. I think ideally I'd be in a world where I've got defense boost, elemental resistance, or range damage resistance. I'm leaning more towards elemental just because all enemy attacks other than melees and stomps are elemental. So we're at defense boost, elemental resistance. I would like shield boost because restoring the health is also going to restore shield. So I'd like shield boost and healing bonus. Now, obviously, I want to match slots 1 and 2. So that's kind of where my preference is. This one's a lot closer than what I want, but it's missing that defense boost. And I do think defense boost is probably the most valuable defensive subset just because it's just flat damage resistance. It's always good. It's always useful. The bonus set effect tiers are cool too. But so that's kind of where I stand in terms of what I would run substat wise, and then the 2 options in slot 1. I don't really think there's another option in slot 2. I think Healing Veil is just the way to go. Slot 3, kind of similar. I really think Rampaging Pact is just the best option. You can use Courageous Planetesimal. It's a smaller damage boost, but it's got longer uptime. But again, if you're using Ning Fei correctly, especially if you have him at T1, you can have Rampaging Pact up pretty much 24/7. And funnily enough, these are the substats that I actually want on it. So I do have what is my 4 out of 4 exotic weapon enhancement because his crossbow is just nuts. You want to prioritize speccing into that as much as you can. Ability strength because that affects his abilities and his super. Super boost because, like I said, his super actually does hit pretty hard. And so putting more emphasis on that paired with the ability strength buffing it too is awesome. You could make an argument to get rid of Arc Boost for, say, signature ability strength. I prefer Arc Boost because, yes, it's a smaller overall bonus, right? Max is at 16.5. I think it's worth it because it's still going to affect... So signature ability only affects his signature abilities, which is not his super. Arc Boost affects his super, both of his signature abilities, and his weapons. And so if you're running Kulfi and the Mahamayuri, also affecting their damage as well. So I think just all-rounder, this is what I recommend substat-wise if you do happen to pull an exotic. You'll see I am running a Mythic here because it's got the 3 substats I want, and I'm trying to keep those high, and I still have plenty of power to run the content I need to run. One day I'll get an exotic to match it, but we're not there yet. So we're rocking a Mythic here. And there's really 2 options, I think, in 4th slot. You've got Valiant Veil, or if you want to lean even harder into the crossbow, you've got Bellicose Planetesimal. Now, this isn't one that I have for him. I actually use this one on my Gwen and my Atal. But the key difference here is Bellicose is going to give more weapon damage. It's going to give 30% weapon damage, whereas Valiant Veil is going to give 25% damage bonus. So it's really a 5% difference in damage, but this is affecting all of his damage. So I think it's more universal. Believe it or not, there are times where your crossbow doesn't have ammo. And so it is nice to be able to just generally boost all of the damage that he puts out. So I recommend Valiant Veil, but you definitely can make an argument for Bellicose as well. Also, just a little potential alternative in slot 1. You can run Ring of Abundance, and that would allow you to maybe run another resistance and get rid of the healing bonus or healing boost substat. But then you're also not... It's an option. I haven't played around with it too much. It's definitely something I'm looking at. But for the time being, I still think Nourishing Pact is the way to go. And so that's kind of my recommendations on the artifacts. and then we'll hit him up into the practice range, and I'll show you what I was talking about in regards to how much I can heal currently in just one movement ability. We want... No, who do I want? I want this one. So we'll just pop in here, take some damage. Bear with me. Alright, 196 health, 1 movement ability. 2 movement abilities, we're at full health. So, it's not full health from 1, but it's half, and like I said, I mean, you have such good uptime on it, and if I get a kill there, I get another movement ability back. So that's kind of where I stand with that. That's my favorite rotation. And then just to kind of show you what he can put out damage-wise, it's pretty insane. I mean, again, yes, it's definitely the crossbow doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. But we'll just... Boom. Man. Let's reset that because Mr. Servitor decided to turn around. And we're gonna do another one. So it gets pretty spicy with the DPS, and if you wanted to do even more damage, you're gonna want to debuff it. And you do that, boom, you're gonna clone away. And that's where the most damage scenario is going to come from, because you're going to deal bonus damage to a target affected by your slam, and then you also deal additional damage after using your clone. So he puts out respectable damage. I don't think anyone questions that. If you look at leaderboards, you can see that for yourself. And I think with how important incandescent clusters are, having a Ning Fei or knowing a Ning Fei main is insanely important currently, and he's a blast to play. A lot of people were dumping on him at the launch of the game, and to be honest, he definitely wasn't in my top predicted characters. But after the crossbow came out and then actually getting some time playing with him, and I might have a different opinion if I didn't have him at T1. But I pulled 2 copies of him very early with my free pulls with the game coming out. And I've had nothing but fun since I've used him. He's all I use to farm in Chaos 2. So, if you haven't tried out Ning Fei, I highly recommend it. I think I went over everything that I would have liked to go over in this video. So if you found it even remotely helpful, please drop a like, subscribe if you want to stick around for more content. Please drop down in the comments what you want to see next, or if you have any questions about Ning Fei or anyone for that matter. And there's also a link to the Discord server in the description of this video and all of my other videos. Go ahead and pop in there, say hi. We're trying to build a community, that way we can get, you know, some artifact farmers all together. And if you ever need help with running things that maybe do require a Ning Fei, because you don't know a Ning Fei man, my UID is always in the corner of the videos. Feel free to add me in game. But the easiest way, if you want to get in touch with me and try to run some stuff together, would just be pop into the Discord and ask out in there. And if maybe it's not me, I'm sure someone in there would be willing to help you out too. So I hope y'all have a great day, night, morning, evening, wherever you're at. And you guys can catch me either live on YouTube tomorrow or Twitch and ask some questions there. But look forward to seeing any of you there.